Hey Rising Church, this is Aaron here. This is week 6 of our study in Revelation and our groves. I hope you guys are getting together. I'm on the run right now. I'm hiding here in the woods because, as you probably know, we're being hunted. And we have an enemy, an adversary who is after us, who wants to steal, kill, destroy us, who is pursuing us, who is spewing stuff out of his mouth to overtake us, to overwhelm us, to take us out. And so I'm here on the run because I know he's coming after me. I know he's looking for me, and so I got to be aware of the devil's schemes. I got to be aware so I know when he's coming to attack me. And it's interesting, this week in our study, we see in chapters 12 and 13, we see the introduction of what I call the unholy trinity, what's referred to as the unholy trinity. You see Satan, this dragon, this power, this symbol that was used throughout the ancient world to represent demonic powers and evil powers and kind of chaos and everything that they bring upon the world. And you see Satan kind of embodied in this symbol of a dragon. He's coming after us. He's pursuing us, and he's pursued the woman. He's pursuing the followers of the woman, of this child that was born out of her, of Jesus. And then what you're going to see as you're going to read here in chapter 13. Here, I got to keep moving because I hear something. I hear something here in the woods. But as you get into chapter 13, and I want you to read this. The first 10 verses are talking about this figure, this character who comes up out of the sea again, this monster. And this one is referred to as the beast, and we refer to him as the Antichrist, this spirit, this power that starts to take over the world. And it's not necessarily figurative, it's actually an actual human, just like the first Satan is, we can't see him, but we can see the Antichrist here. There's this person that's going to rise to power. He's going to unite the world against God. And so you're going to see, when you start studying chapter 13, you're going to see how he is a parody of Jesus, the second character of the unholy trinity, with Satan being the father, the first beast being the son, and the third beast, which you get to at the end of chapter 13, being the Holy Spirit. And he's this false prophet who gets everybody to worship the beast and to worship the dragon and to worship Satan. And so that's kind of what we see going on in chapter 13, which you're going to read, and I really want you to study it and think about what's being said. But I want you to also think about the context. I want you to think about the context of the first century when John is writing this, because John is writing to a first century audience. And for them, it was very easy for them to interpret this, because when they thought of Satan, when they thought of this kingdom coming, they would think of Rome. Rome was the most powerful empire, and it was just sweeping across the world, and it was forcing people to basically worship the emperor. As we talked about before, the emperor is one to be worshipped as God. You find coins throughout this period, and they literally say the Son of God, and they would have the title of the name of these emperors. You'd have Nero and Domitian and Caligula, and they would say, bow down before me because I have that power. And throughout John's, he's writing to these 7 churches in Asia, and you see them. And these churches, they were trying to how do we deal with this? Because we're being told that we have to worship this imperial cult. We're being told that we have to bow down before these things. We have to make offerings to Caesar as part of what we do. And they said we can't do that because there's only one God and his name is Jesus. And so they refused to do that, but the government would come after them, and the government would even say at certain places, hey, you can't trade unless you have this mark saying that you have already offered your sacrifices to Caesar, to the Roman gods. And so they were being persecuted, and they were being told they can't come into the market, they can't trade, they can't purchase things. And so that's kind of what we see going on here in chapter 13. You see this actual literal thing going on where this was happening in the first century, but you also see this being projected out, saying, hey, this is something that's coming in the distance. And so I just want you to, as you guys look at this chapter, when you think about this unholy trinity, when you think about Satan, this dragon, being like the Father, and when you think of the Antichrist being like Jesus the Son, when you think of the false prophet being like the Holy Spirit, it's like Satan is trying to set up his own kingdom, this parody of reality. And he says he's coming after the believers, he's coming after us. And what's going to keep us from falling? What's going to keep us from being taken over? What's going to help us to conquer that, to prevail against that, to overcome all these things? And that's what we have to learn as believers. That's what we got to talk about. That's what we got to discuss. And so as you talk today, just keep all this in mind. Do we need to be paranoid? Do we need to be on the run? Do we need to be looking over our shoulder, constantly going, oh, they're after us, they're after us, they're after us? Or where can we find our peace? Where can we find our assurance? What is the thing that's going to keep us safe and solid in the midst of running, and in the midst of chaos, in the midst of disorder, in the midst of persecution? That's what the book of Revelation is all about. And so as you guys are studying today, just keep all that in mind. So have a good study. I'm hoping to make it out of these woods alive, and hopefully we'll see you next week. See ya. Bye.